Hey, good afternoon. It is 2:04 p.m. I believe it's Wednesday afternoon. It's July 23rd, okay? So today I'm here making a video. If you can't see my face, let me adjust this right here a little bit. Okay, so I believe that the bus station, Get Bus, is trying to protest me. Today I was preparing to go to the library, and the bus stop is right around the corner for me. So I was waiting for the designated time for the bus stop. And I noticed that one of my neighbors had left the house when I left the house, okay? And then I also noticed when I got to the bus stop, which I got there early, the bus didn't show. So I think the bus comes like every, I don't know, half an hour. So for all the times that I was there, it did not show up. So the number is bus 45. I believe the direction is Foothill / Oildale or something. And I really do think it needs to be looked into. I had mentioned this issue to the president of how some of these people here in this community are doing things that are actually very childish. I have done absolutely nothing to anybody to deserve this. Now, the message I'm getting right now is that people are aware of the human trafficking issue, and it's because I brought this issue to their attention. Yes, people do participate in human trafficking. Yes, I do believe that the Get Bus station is also participating in human trafficking. I am referring to the one who is writing the Route 45, scheduled for July 23rd today. Okay. The reason why is, and I ask and implore people to do an investigation as to what's going on in the community. And if it's nothing, if the bus just broke down, then I excuse that. But if it didn't, then we need to address the issue. I know just recently I had talked about my departure from this particular network that was working underground. And I believe that Elon Musk was also included into this. Now, I know that the community was doing a lot of backhanded stuff regarding some of the agencies, like for example, the EDD and stuff like that. And I think that the fact that I got, this issue resolved, meaning I had stated that no one has the right to interfere with my finances. This particular group is still working underground to do things to undermine me as a form of harassment. So when it comes to the Get Bus, okay, Get Bus 45, who is ever driving that route, needs to be reported. Okay, and the reason why I'm reporting it is because, okay, that if they question this particular bus driver today at this particular time, and if this person has a legitimate excuse for not driving by, the bus stop and ignoring it, then okay, right? But I doubt that's the case. Okay, so I do believe that there are certain people who are upset because they had no right to attack me, are still unhappy because I stood up for myself. Now, this was in no way me trying to create problems within the community, but there's a lot of people who are just wanting to compete just for the sake of competition. I'm not interested. I'm not into this for the sake of competition. Thing is that I understood that Elon Musk and his his group were targeting me. Of course, it's going to take me by surprise. I mean, why in the world would I want to be a part of something that's illegal? Okay, aside from that, I'm coming to understand the real nature of these people. And of course, it's, I have the right to back away and acknowledge my interest, okay, in being a part of this sort of like cabal, I'm going to say, okay. So I understand that what was going on, these religious groups who were getting together, bullying me based on my own personal likes, tastes, preferences, and my right to exist, how I choose to exist. So the fact is that, yes, I am entitled to make an income. I'm entitled to money that's owed to me if that's possible. So I think there's certain people in this community that still hold things against me. And this is what I believe is going on with the Get Bus. Okay, now I will tell you that when it comes to me, I think it's because they're angry because I am representing myself as an autodidact, okay? And the fact is that, I had moved to this community. Look, I'm innocent, okay? No matter, it doesn't matter what, okay? And I think that there are certain people who are upset that, I was able to explain my situation. And obviously, I cannot be held responsible for anybody's problems. But like I said, I talked about, certain people who still hold a grudge because this has been such a long issue, okay, with all these people participating in it. And some people feel a little empty because they don't have the ability to constantly create arguments anymore, and they don't have the right to. So they want to take little digs here and there. And I do believe that the Get Bus station is doing this. Now, I'm not saying the entire station, but I am going to say that bus route number 45 needs to be investigated, okay? And I understand how people like to play games. If I called over to the bus station, they would probably turn me around and do all this other stuff, okay? The thing is that, you know, I have a full month's bus pass, meaning I paid for my services and I deserve my services, okay? So if number 45 needs to be reported and possibly terminated if they are not doing their job, okay? You cannot just sit here and reroute the bus system just to your liking. And I'm not trying to create problems, but I also have to be consistent when it comes to me calling out issues relating to, number one, my protection and my peace of mind. I have done absolutely nothing but exist in this community, and everyone took advantage of wanting to attack me, okay? And they don't have any right to attack me. And the only reason why Get Bus is attacking me, I'm trying to get, you know, information as to why they feel, oh, because I'm not getting married. Okay, this has an issue because I'm not getting married. Once again, okay, I was a part of an underground, okay, an underground, what do you call it? An underground crime syndicate, okay? And everybody who I come in contact with is going to be questionable. For my own safety, I choose not to get married. As a matter of fact, for my own safety, I choose to very limit the kind of communications that I even have. Okay, for my own safety, I mean, just about everybody gets toxin, I mean, and poisoned in the mind because of this. So because I do not want to be a part of Elon Musk, I mean, I don't know what the deal was, okay, how much Elon had control over whatever, but I understand that he got, you know, married through, I guess, maybe his employer or however, okay. And see, I understand that this whole employment manipulation, it's all illegal. So there's no reason for me to want to comply with something that I know that's illegal. Aside from that, you know, these people are not my friends. I am somebody who does not agree with this particular lifestyle. We decided to part peacefully because there was no other way to exist. Okay, so I would like to know what's going on over at the Get Bus, okay? The Get Bus needs to correct the issue. I've already paid for my stuff. Okay, I've already paid for my services. I expect my services to be granted when I need them. Okay, I don't try to make any issues when I get on the Get Bus. You know, I sit down, and then when I leave, I make sure that I don't have any crumbs or I don't leave any litter or anything like that. I am a respectable citizen, and I do not appreciate the game playing at all. At all, okay? And yes, you do deserve to be called out, and you do deserve to lose your job over this issue. Now, what else do I want to talk about? Because I was going to make a video earlier today about my new YouTube channel, okay? And then I know that, you know, I think there is a lot of resentment towards the people who were siding with these particular people, okay? About, you know, of course, I mean, it's a no-brainer. No, I do not want to get married. I don't want to get married for my own protection. Okay, for my own protection, there is no reason for me to sit here and mingle with people who I know deep down inside, after a while, they're going to have a desire to sit here and cause me problems. Aside from that, I do not want them having friends that I feel are going to be threatening to me. So, you know, I will never get married. I already told people I have to be 100% responsible for my own income. Okay, this is not a competition. It's just the way I have to live. You know, it is what it is, okay? So then, you know, I don't need Get Bus sitting here. So yes, when it comes to this human trafficking issue, I know I've addressed Donald Trump before. I need you to look into this issue, contact the Get Bus, and let them know that number 45 failed to show up today, and this should not continue happening again. Now, the message I'm also getting is a lot of people do agree that clones, you know, should either be produced ethically or not, okay? And so the reason why this particular person, it could also be, you know, not cooperating is because I'm a clone, and they resent the fact that I exist. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. They're also upset because, you know, I have the right to make money and that I am entitled to services like, you know, what do you call it? State services. If I'm entitled to those state services, I will tell you that I've always paid in, okay? And I'm somebody who's never tried to abuse the system. Okay, so of course, okay, so once again, we have people who have problems. So bus number 45 driver, okay, needs to be investigated and possibly terminated for doing the things that he's doing. Now, another issue I'm getting is the fact that I smoke marijuana. Okay, like I said, you know, if you have an issue that I do not smoke marijuana on your bus. Okay, also marijuana is legal. Okay, so like I said, we have people within the bus system. When you're talking about dual affiliations, I would consider somebody who wants to deviate the route of a bus route, somebody who is what do you call it, a dual affiliation. This person needs to be terminated from their position or questioned as to why they skipped the bus route. And if it is not a legitimate excuse, like a bus breakdown, then they need to be terminated from their position. It is what it is, okay? Like I said, you know, the reason why I contacted Donald Trump as well as the churches is because I knew this issue needed to end. It needed to stop, okay? It's the churches that poison the minds of these certain people. And no, this particular bus driver cannot sit here and use the church as an excuse for their not picking people up, okay? They're also, the message I'm getting is that they are upset because of my education. I am a success story, is what I am. Okay, I am a success story, meaning I was bullied by this particular organization for years and years and years. I was bullied right out of the school system. Okay, so what my issue is that the issue that they raised themselves, okay, was, oh, we're better than you. We have a college degree. We blah, 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 okay? And I was somebody who was just like, okay, well, you know, I'm just here to get like a little bookkeeping job to raise my son. That's it, okay? They themselves wanted to raise the issue, okay? So then I got on YouTube and started figuring out, okay, this is what they're holding against me. This is what they're holding. And so, yes, I addressed the issue, okay? So part of the issue is, well, we know more than you, and they were doing everything they could to try to prove that. So by them doing that, even collaborating with people, creating gang stalking issues, creating workplace mobbing issues, creating sexual harassment issues, so on all the way down the line, okay, then we proved them wrong, because obviously I understand the legalities of it and the things that they should not have done. So with this right here is me showing that, yes, an autodidact does have more knowledge in a lot of cases than somebody who is, what do you call it, degreed. You know what I mean? Like from a 4-year brick and mortar university. That is not a legitimate excuse, okay? And it is not illegal to work without a degree, okay? It is completely legitimate. It is up to the employer. Okay, now what these excuses that I'm getting intuitively are just somebody who is upset. They're also upset because I am highly regarded by a lot of elite people, okay? And so this is why we have this underground network working, okay? So this particular person, who I do appreciate people like in the White House who are protecting me, okay? And I appreciate it. You know why you're protecting me from? From people like bus number 45, okay? The driver of bus number 45 is still trying to keep the issue going when I feel as though it should have been resolved, okay? I had just recently found out about the whole Elon Musk thing. I already addressed the issue, okay? And it's unfortunate. I feel sorry for Elon, okay? Of course, I do not want to be a wife of Elon or be associated with any transhumanistic agenda or be a part of his religion, okay? It's obviously something that is very warped, okay? And I don't agree with it. I also know that he was a brainwashed person, and I have prayed for his soul and I have prayed for his well-being. That's it, okay? I have to keep going, okay? So this particular bus driver is basically somebody who resents me, okay? It is not my fault. Okay? It's not my fault because of my educational background. It's, you know, the reason why that put me in this situation is because I was bullied out of every institution that I've ever went to. Every single last one. And then also messages I'm getting is that something about my astral projection. Look, you know what? Just get fired already, okay? Get bus number 45 all the way up to the management. They will not take my call at the Get Bus. If there is somebody in the community that would make sure that you make this complaint against the bus driver number 45, please do so. And the reason why I'm doing it is because this person, I have tried to make peace with this community, and this person is continually trying to keep the issue going, okay? Yes, I have the right to live my life. Okay, I have the right to, you know, be very careful about the people that I associate with. Okay, and no, I will not get married. Okay? I used to dream of having like the best friend and all this other stuff. I have to keep people at an arm's length distance because they usually have some sort of agenda. I can't be sure if they don't. Just like, you know, there's no reason for the bus number 45 driver to have any issues against me. They're jealous because I'm somebody who has things. Okay, I can't help it. You know how long it's taken me to acquire the little bit of Dollar Tree stuff that I've had? I've had this stuff for years and years and years and years. Whatever the case, see, what I'm talking about is we get these deranged individuals like number 45 driver, okay, who feels as though if they're jealous of the things that you own, they feel is justified to sit here and take this up to the company. I am telling the Get Bus company that you have a dual affiliation vigilante in your company. If I am wrong, my apologies, okay? But this person needs to be questioned as to why they did not pick me up at the bus station, okay? And why do they feel as though it is their responsibility to enact some sort of hate crime against me, okay? The message I'm getting is that something about, yes, it's about me standing up for myself and me pushing through. Meaning, like, they didn't have any reason to obstruct me. They didn't have any right or legal reason to do this. So there are certain people in the community that are still upset about it, okay? That's not my problem. That's not my problem. Okay? It's not my problem. Okay? I have the right to live my life. I have the right to buy the things I want to buy. I have the right to live my life and see things the way that I want to. I am a peaceful person. Okay? But people so I'm calling out every vigilante. Anybody who causes me the slightest problem, I'm calling them out. And I am calling out right now, I'm calling out the Get Bus Route 45. Okay, like I said, I have paid my entire month's worth of, what do you call it? Bus fare, right? And so I expect to get my money's worth. Okay, I am a paying customer. Like I said, this war is your war. Okay, the bus number 45 person, that's their war. Okay, like I said, I have never done anything to create this issue. My responsibility in my life is to live my life. That's it. So the issue I'm getting is somebody's resenting me for not wanting to get married. Okay, so but it could either be one of Elon Musk's groups of people or whatever. I just got away from a trafficking ring network. Okay, do you honestly think I do not have time to think about romance and anything like that? All I care about is getting on with my life. Okay, and this person knows that I had made a reasonable presentation. I am not responsible for this. Okay, so like I said, if companies want to constantly enact their personal issues out by not following company rules, or if the entire company is collaborating to try to target somebody, then this needs to be brought up. So this is why I'm making the attention to Donald Trump. Hey, this is what's going on in Bakersfield. I need transportation, okay? And this community already conspired at one time to prevent me from working. Okay, so that wasn't good enough because they feel very threatened by who I am as a person, okay, even though they have no right to. Okay, the reason why all of this is their fault, all of it. Okay, so I'm letting Donald Trump know, as well as everyone else in the White House, okay, that this is what's going on. Okay, so if somebody can call over at the Get Bus and complain and report bus number 45 driver, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay. Also, this has something to do with the Swan Song Manifesto. I have the right to take control over my work. Okay. So like I said, there's a lot of people who have a lot of resentment about what I rightfully had to do in order to take care of myself. Okay. Because you know why they had this mentality? Because the mentality of the cloning program, okay, is that we were created by, these like German scientists or these, people who were into cloning, okay? And then, of course, people like the LDS Church kept track of genealogy and all this other stuff. So these people become indoctrinated, okay? So there is nothing wrong with us as who we are and how we are existing, okay? It's just that this particular person is brainwashed. They are angry that I'm entitled to get the sort of compensation that I deserve, okay? Because what they wanted to do is they wanted to stop my finances, okay? So then what I realized that something illegal was going on, so I made this video about the EDD, okay? And so that they're pissed off about that. So I need to get out of my house. I can't be in my house all day. So I figured, today I needed to work on some stuff. I'm going to go ahead and go to the library for about an hour or two, okay? So I wait at the bus stop, you know what I mean? And then these people decide they don't want to pick me up. Okay, they don't want to pick me up. They do not want to cooperate with me. The thing is, what they're upset is that they're upset because I broke free from the human trafficking ring. And that's what it is, okay? I don't know what to tell you, okay? But this person, for bus number 45, this person needs to be investigated. And they also possibly need to be communicating with law enforcement. Because if they are a part of this, anybody who's acting this sort of way, I'm going to tell you what, you must be a part of this big, wide human trafficking network. And you really do need to be reported. And yes, you do need to go through the whole rigmarole with law enforcement. Okay, because like I said, and if it's like I said, if this is a mistake on their part, then okay, it's a mistake. Other than breaking your butts down, there's got to be a reason why. And the message I'm getting is that people are upset that the Swan Song Manifesto is my enterprise. Of course, it's my enterprise. Okay, but see, they were used to this idea that the church could be taking stuff that belongs to me. It belongs to me. Okay. The church does not, I am not a member of any particular church. And yes, the church, so this person is upset because the church doesn't have a right to steal off me. See, this is what I'm talking about. I am dealing with mentally ill people. Mentally ill people. Okay. And then you have a mentally ill person working at the Get bus station, and they need to be extracted, and they also need to be questioned by law enforcement. Okay. What else do I want to talk about? So yeah, they're upset because people think I get a free ride. Okay, let me tell you something. I earn everything that I have. Just because I'm a clone and all this other, I think people think that I'm somebody. No, I have made decent choices. The choices that I've made in my life are decent. Okay, that I could take control over. Okay, I realize that people are very toxic. I don't want anything to do with them, so I backed up and I take care of my own business. I try to stay out of the way as much as I possibly can, okay? But I will tell you, I have busted my ass in every single job I've had. I've never sat here and tried to think, well, I'm Maria, I'm a clone, I should be getting all these favors. No, I have always worked for everything I had, okay? So when I don't expect churches and stuff like that to think that they have the right to take my Swan Song Manifesto or celebrities or anything like that. Okay, I'm not associated with the celebrities. I wasn't raised by the celebrities. Okay, the celebrities really, I mean, now that I come to understand exactly how they are, look, it's not my responsibility. I'm not responsible for the celebrities. I don't know any of these celebrities, and I honestly feel like, this is like weird to me. I'm not comfortable with it, and I feel as though they should have never put their hands on my stuff, okay? And it's that right there that makes it so that I do not trust these people. And it's unfortunate, but see, they should not have operated in this manner. You know what I mean? It would be different if somebody walked up and said, hey, Maria, I want to collaborate with you, okay? And then we had this agreement, and I'm like, yeah, okay, we can do this, okay? Because I understand, and have complete control over my stuff. But it's not, this working behind the shadows, stealing my work and thinking that I'm okay with it. The Swan Song Manifesto was my manifesto. It's a personal thing. That's just like somebody creating a diary, right? And then their neighbor trying to use it and pass it off as theirs. No, the Swan Song Manifesto is my story. It's not something that could be told by anyone else. Okay? So once again, okay, so yeah, they're upset because I smoke more marijuana. They're upset because I'm responsible and I'm the face of the New Earth thing. Okay, if a person's jealous, that is not a reason to hold up the bus system. That's not a reason. Your jealousy is not a reason to hold up the bus system. Okay, so like I said, for President Trump, you need to know that this is going on. Okay, and then also the Get bus station needs to be investigated, specifically bus driver 45. Okay, and like I said, I don't like causing trouble. Okay, and I said, when I had stated what I stated before a couple of days ago about, finding out about Elon and all this other stuff. Yeah, I don't want to have that sort of relationship with that. Okay, Elon. Okay, even if I was to have a relationship with Elon, because I wanted to be his friend. Okay, I was not interested in the political setup that he was involved in. Okay, what I wanted to know was how it was like his life was as a targeted individual. I wanted him to be able to share his stories with me and stuff like that. Okay, I already see. I don't agree with the lifestyle of these celebrities. Okay, I don't. All right. As a matter of fact, I've made a conscious decision to just go on and just live my life, and I'm blocking it out. Like for many years, I didn't pay any attention to politics, and I did that on purpose. I didn't want to. I don't turn on the news. I'm completely ignorant of it. You know why? Because I see how crooked the world is. I see how crooked it is. Okay, so it's like I don't want any part of that. That's my choice. You know what I mean? I know that I'm living my life right, and yes, I am living my life right. Okay, meaning I don't involve myself with other people. I am not responsible for the pains of other people. I mind my own business. My mind is constantly focused on the things that I need to do. I do not involve myself or get involved or cause other people problems. Okay, and nobody can say that I can. Okay, so like I said before, and I talked about this one time, and I said it before, and I said it again. Okay, I already addressed Donald Trump. I addressed the churches. Okay, the churches are the ones who poison the minds of many people. Okay, it needed to stop. The church, and like I said, told the churches, you guys are responsible for triggering these weird people's minds, just like the bus driver at number 45. It is your responsibility to make sure that these people are get untriggered, okay? And so he wants to take it upon himself to constantly stick it to me, okay? And he had no right to do that on behalf of the Get Bus. And if the Get Bus is telling him to do that, then this whole people need to be investigated. Okay, because like I said, this is a huge human trafficking ring, and their sort of behavior is only, showing it. So the message I'm getting right now is like this: there's Christians, Christian, what do you call it, commerce, people who are hiding within that Get Bus organization. Now, if I was to make the phone call to the Get Bus station, guess what? They're going to sit here and give me the runaround, all right? So if somebody isn't within this community can make that phone call, or Donald Trump, you want to make that phone call, or whoever wants to investigate it, please do so right now, okay? Because these people are just showing off and making it very obvious that, yes, they are involved in the human trafficking ring. So that needs to be investigated. Now, I am not going to go to the library today, okay? But hopefully the bus schedule will resume. I'm bringing this issue up because I'm not interested in playing any more games. Obviously, when people continue this game, when it should be resolved, okay, this is the reason, like I said, this is the reason why I talked to Donald Trump about it, addressed Donald Trump and the churches, because this issue needed to end. It originated with, these particular people who are into cloning, as well as it merged into the churches, okay? And because I've addressed Donald Trump about it, is because he's the president of the United States. Religion does not belong in the White House. It does not belong in it belongs in America, but it is not what is the established law. It is not the expected rule of conduct for everybody in this country, okay? So this is the reason why I brought him into it. And once I mentioned that, I was moving on with my life, okay? So I understand that people are reporting vigilantes. I'm reporting this one as possible suspect of a vigilante. Like I said, I cannot make that phone call myself, so please do the investigation as you can, okay? What else do I want to say? I think that's it. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate that people want to continue to play games. But like I said, what they're trying to do is they're trying to, they want me to be a part of the network. I have no interest in being a part of the network. Okay, it is best for me to, I don't want to talk about Elon Musk anymore. I don't want to talk about religion anymore. I don't want to talk about anything anymore. I am not interested in, I'm not getting on Facebook. I'm not doing any of those sort of things. The only thing I'm interested in is to produce the kind of work that I need to do to make a living. I am not focused on anything else. Okay, I am not associated with celebrities, and celebrities really should not be focused on me. Okay, now the message I'm getting right now is yes, I should go to the library today. I am not, if I do decide to go to the library, it's getting pretty late right now. Okay, like I said, I'm asking that these services be resumed, the bus service be resumed. I am also asking that people do some investigation. That person needs to be questioned by the authorities as to their participation in human trafficking. Okay. Another message I get is that it's about the cloning. I do understand that people kind of abused Elon Musk because he was a victim of human trafficking. And see, this is the cruelty. Okay, now don't get me wrong. Elon Musk had his hand in the trafficking network. Okay, I know that he did. Okay, but he really didn't have a choice. See, the difference between me and Elon Musk is that Elon Musk was right up in front of his handlers and the people that were controlling him. He was in their vicinity and stayed within their whatever. Okay, and I know that throughout the years I have been dealing with the trafficking network, and I do not want any part of it. I do not, and I have the right to say that. I do not consider myself related to these people based on legal anything. I do not want to associate with the celebrities. Okay, it is time for me to move on. I was a victim of human trafficking. This is the only reason why they came into contact with me. Okay, so and they created this issue with the church and all this other stuff. So bus number 45 person wants to sit here and take his issues out on me. Like I said, and the message I'm getting right now is that they know that I'm right. They know I'm right. So get this person remove this person from their position. Okay, and they should also be questioned by law enforcement. Who else influenced this person to do what they did? Make him cop it up, let him tell you everything so you can get down to the heart of it. Okay, I'm doing everything I can so that I can gain enough money to move out of this community. Okay, I understand. I'm trying to make this work for everybody. okay? Meaning that I have the right to get on with my life, and I choose to get on with my life, okay? I understand that the community has done things that I don't think is very welcoming or outright not Christian at all, or decent or moral or anything. So I'm trying to work this out, okay? Obviously, you know, I deserve to go at work, make money, and get on with my life. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to do with the video of human targets, and then trying also to make money here while I'm here in this community, and so that I can move on to Lancaster, California. Okay, and so like I said, when I addressed Donald Trump and the churches, I was hoping it would end, but I also was aware that there's a lot of weirdos who still want to keep it going. Okay, once again, I have identified a Christian vigilante. This person needs to be removed from their position. Okay, and they should be questioned by law enforcement as to, are they working alone? Is this somebody who just held a grudge because maybe I didn't like Rex Laverne and they might be friends with Rex Laverne and wants to keep the issue going? They don't have a reason to keep the issue going, okay, unless they're mentally ill. Because I basically proved all my points in my third quarter newsletter, as also following it up. Okay, like religiously, politically, whatever, they don't have any reason to do what they're doing other than being crazy and being a vigilante. So if this person was working alone, then they need to state that. If they had some people who they were getting instructions by, they need to be questioned by law enforcement, and they should lose their position. As well as these people who they report, who also a part of what made this person do what they did, they need to be reported to, and they need to lose their jobs. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, like I said, I had made every attempt to bring peace to this community in a peaceful way. Okay, and these people continue want to do it. No, I do not want to be fucking married or be a part of that. It's one of these Christian people. Okay, like I said, and I don't want to bash religion, because I do respect people's right to have religion. Okay, but like I said, these people keep going on, and if you keep going on, I'm going to report you each and every time. Each and every time. Like if this person was like in my face, like let's just say for example they were disrespecting me in a grocery store or whatever, they were waiting on me, then I would just blast their head off right there in front of the grocery store. I'm not putting up with it. Okay, like I said, that issue should have ended when I talked about addressing Donald Trump and the churches. Okay, and the message I'm getting right now is that they look at me as high class. Okay, you know what? I'm a well-cultivated person. I'm not ashamed of that. Okay, but just because, and once again, because I'm a high class person and because I have standards or whatever, then any sort of retaliation is just jealousy on your part. That's what it is. Okay, so it's a hate crime. Bus number 45 person is jealous, so therefore they want to enact that. That's not an acceptable excuse. Okay, so yeah, the message I'm also getting is that the president says that I brought the TI and the human trafficking issue to their awareness, and yes, I was right all along. Okay. I had said this in 2015 when I made my channel. Okay. There's a lot of ignorant people, such as bus driver 45, and there's also a lot of people who are ignorant and they're just outright evil. I'm going to say bus driver number 45, to me you're evil at this point, because I've already clarified and I think I made it very clear. And I think I made it very peaceful, okay? There's no way in the world that you could sit here and try to act like, oh, I can get angry at this person. You just want to keep the issue going. For some people, especially loner people or people who had no sort of stable security in life, this argument allowed them to have some camaraderie with people, okay? The common person that they wanted to attack and talk bad about was, allowed them to group together and have a sense of belonging, all at my expense, okay? So we have certain people who still feel like, well, if we don't have anything to bitch about, I don't have anything to live for, okay? And this would be probably indicative of Mr. number 45 or Miss or Mr. number 45. This is not acceptable, okay? So anyway, that's it. I wanted to be done with it. You know what I mean? I don't want any more issues of it, and like I said, if people are jealous because I'm somebody who is more innovative than they are or whatever, I don't know what to tell you. You cannot sit here and enact your hatred just because you're jealous of somebody. And see, this is the kind of ignorance that I've dealt with a lot of times. Okay. A mature, cultivated, and civilized person would say, you know what, if they felt bad about themselves, then they could either do something to try to better themselves, but better themselves, hurting somebody else is not going to better you. So I deal with a lot of ignorant people, and I am so very tired of it. Okay, any other messages that I want to get? Yes. Okay, this is a part of human trafficking. So when I deal with people like Bus 45 not showing up or whatever, this obviously indicates that this is a part of the Christian network. Okay, or a residual person of a vigilante. Okay, so what we're dealing with is there are vigilantes in the GITS bus system. Okay, they need to be investigated. They need to be investigated, okay? And the reason why is because they know good and well that they have no right to do what they're doing, okay? That's it. All right, so I'm going to wrap up this video. And like I said, I'm addressing this to Donald Trump as well as the churches as well. I don't know who this person is, but I'm going to call it Get Bus. I'm going to call Get Bus number 45. And this is how I'm going to title it, okay? And then, I'm just addressing this issue, and I want to resolve issues peacefully because that's all I really want to do, okay? But at the same time, I understand human trafficking is a very serious issue. It is a very serious issue. It is like, it is a life-threatening issue, and somebody who wants to continually play this game, they need to be called out right then and there. Okay, there is no game playing. I'm not going to let it slide. I'm not going to let it go. The reason why I'm not letting it go is because it should have stopped a long time ago, especially when I had already addressed Donald Trump. And then when I found out about Elon, Elon, all of these people, I don't care who they are, okay? I am not associated with celebrities. Okay, I have the right to live myself, my alone. I mean, I do my own thing. They may not like they are upset because I'm the savior, because I have special gifts. Yes, I do have special gifts. Okay, I'm the clone of King Solomon. I have special gifts. Okay, so why would you want to mess with somebody who has special gifts? Okay, it's stupid. I'm tired of dealing with these really foolish people. Okay, so anyway, I'm wrapping this up, and I will be back with another video sometime later. Take care. Bye-bye.